Sandy. Why don't I introduce my team and myself? I'm Sue Romanoff. I have been in Women's League and Garden State region for a number of years, but I took a sabbatical for a few years and I'm back again. I was membership VP a number of years ago, and I think I was social actions for a while. And now, as you know, I'm Torah Fund VP, and Donna is here to help me out and our team. I guess everybody knows I'm up in Connecticut now, but I live in New Jersey, and I would like to introduce my team. Gloria,
Hi, I'm Gloria Kinsler.
go ahead.
I'm from East Brunswick, New Jersey. From East Brunswick Jewish Center is my synagogue. And as a new person on the Torah Fund team, I thank you for the opportunity of being able to speak a little later.
Okay. Oh, I didn't say I was from Temple Emmanuel in Woodcliff Lake. Gloria, thank you. Deborah? Debbie?
Okay, yeah,
There you are.
which, you're
No.
talking to me?
No, Debbie Gerber.
No. Okay, you better say the last name.
Yes.
A lot of Debbies. Hi, Debbie Gerber. I represent the Highland Park Conservative Temple Congregation Anshe Emet, and I've been working with Torah Fund for 3 years. It's my 3rd year, and worked with Donna last year, and hopefully we'll have a better year this year. Really enjoying the teamwork that we're having now. So we're building a real team, and happy to be able to see everybody tonight. So looking forward to the meeting. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Sharon?
Hi, I'm Sharon Hammerman. I'm from Congregation of Agudath Israel, and I'm the Torah Fund chair in my synagogue along with Cindy Schechter, and also have been part of the Torah Fund team with Donna the last few years. And I'm very excited. I think we have a good year ahead of us, and nice to see some familiar faces and to see some new faces.
And I'd like to introduce Barbara Ezring, and she's our Torah Fund chair for the Women's League International. Barbara, do you want to say anything?
You're muted.
To unmute. I'm sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I am in Florida. I have just moved within the last 3 weeks to Florida. So I will be joining the fabulous Florida region. Still own my home in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we've been moving around the last few years. So I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. And thank you to Sue for running this program and for being the Region Torah Fund Vice President. Thank you for all you did last year to raise money for Torah Fund. I know it was a very challenging year. I think this year may be a little bit challenging too. We're going to have to watch what's going on. I know some synagogues have opened and then pulled back and said, wear your masks. So everybody, we're just going, pikuach nefesh is the highest thing we do. We pay attention to health, that we take care of health issues, take care of our bodies and our souls, and we are going to watch our health and be as careful as we can. So wear your mask, wash your hands, and get out there and let's raise money for Torah Fund and support our students in our 5 seminaries globally. And I'm going to let Sue run the program. Thank you for introducing me.
Thank you for joining us, Barbara. Lynette's on vacation, just so everybody knows. I think what we're going to do first is we're going to have Gloria do the video and talk about Torah Fund.
I don't do the video. That's not for me to do.
Oh, no, I'll put the video on. Don't worry.
No, that was, I'm just talking
Oh,
about.
I'm sorry. Debbie.
Yes.
Debbie's going to do the video, and
Right.
I have my granddaughter here, so she makes sure I get the video on correctly. And then after the video, if there's questions and answers and a discussion, that would be great. And then Gloria is going to do why we're giving to Torah Fund. And we'll do the same thing each time one of us is doing our program. Sharon's going to do programming and what kind of programs we can have. And then I'll wind up just doing a recap of everything and read my part. I'm going to have Debbie do the talking, and I'll put the video up on the screen after she tells me she's ready. How's that, Deb?
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, and I know that we know a lot about the five seminaries, the yeshivot, or the schools that our Torah Fund money supports. But I thought I would delve a little more deeply into two, the ones that we don't know. We know about JTS, of course, in New York. We have many of our students from there. We know about the Schechter Institute in Israel, where all of our students actually spend a year. And it's a fantastic year for learning to love Israel and to getting together. They get together with all the other seminary students from the other yeshivot or schools. We know a lot about the Ziegler School in California. It's similar to JTS, and it's just a West Coast school. But I thought we didn't know enough about the two foreign seminaries. And we'll talk very briefly about the Seminario Rabbinico Latinoamericano, Marshall T. Mayer. So I lived for many years in Sweden, and I know how important it is for the smaller communities of the world to have representative rabbis and cantors and leaders and teachers. And in 1962, Rabbi Marshall Mayer, who was from JTS, went to Latin America, to Buenos Aires, and he became the rabbi. And I was privileged to meet him once, a real mover and a doer, and a dear friend of our rabbi in Stockholm. Anyway, he started this academic center, and it became the center of teaching rabbis and a source of rabbis and cantors and leaders in South America. So you think to yourself, this whole continent was able to have a school, and it became the goal to train rabbis and cantors, of course, and lead the South American communities. And many of the teachers were JTS teachers who came down to South America to teach. And they offer graduate programs and other things. And I know we actually had a young cantor from Seminario Rabbinico in Stockholm. So we got to know, they go all over the world. So it's a fantastic school. But the newest school that I thought I'd tell you a little bit about is the Zacharias Frankel College in Potsdam, Germany. And every time I say it or think about it, I think what a wonderful thing it is that we have a seminary, a Jewish school in Germany. And of all places, it's the only institution in Europe teaching. And as I said, being from Stockholm, we always had to turn to either Israel or New York for our teachers. And here it is, we have a seminary in the middle of Europe, back in Germany. So it's very heartwarming to know. So I'll tell you a little about that. School of Jewish Theology represents a unique institution with German academia for the first time ever that Jewish theology has been established as a discipline at a German public university. And it's therefore recognized as an academically equal to Christian theologies and newly established Islam center. So that's really important too, because as you know, Islam is on the rise. So here we have a Jewish school that's recognized by the German government. November 9th, 2013, the School of Jewish Theology was officially inaugurated and became a reality. It covers 8 different professorships in different areas of Judaism. I don't need to tell you all of the different areas like Hebrew or Bible or rabbinic studies and halacha. And they grant doctoral degrees as well as a German degree for a full professorship. The school is open to students independently from their religious affiliations. There are about 40 students currently enrolled in the school, and I think it's only a few years old, from 2013. And 1/3 of them, I shall tell you, ladies, are women. Very exciting. And they come from different countries, mainly Germany, Israel, Hungary, and the former Soviet Union. They teach in English, but the faculty would like people to learn German, and it depends on the professor whether you're classes taught in German or in English. Students have the opportunity to have further training as rabbis and conservative Jewry. Now, we have to realize also there are many yeshivot in the world, but they're mostly Orthodox. And here we have a conservative teaching the Masorti ideals that we obviously all believe in. It's the first conservative school in Europe. Students study for 5 years there, including 1 year in Israel, to improve their Hebrew. And that really does work amazingly well. They live in Israel and they speak Hebrew, and they learn to be comfortable in Hebrew. And they'll also get to have a love of the state of Israel, which is incredibly important as a rabbi. They have ordained 2 classes, of conservative rabbis so far, and they are serving in different German communities. So the Masorti movement does a lot of wonderful things. It's about a collection of over 40 synagogue communities in 15 countries. So the European Masorti communities' largest areas are Britain and France. But they do a lot of interesting things. They have a Bet Din, it's a court if you have a question of law, that oversees conversions and divorce proceedings, supervises catering of kosher food and the supervision of kosher food. It rules on complex issues of law. And the movement brings together different communities, strengthening the smaller ones and bringing fresh ideas to the new ones. So the Zacharias Frankel College is the only Masorti rabbinical training institute in all of Europe. So we have to be really thankful and say what a wonderful thing it is that we are supporting this incredibly important institution. So we're pleased to have a beautiful video to show you of the students at the Zacharias Frankel Institute. All set for your video. It says Berlin, but it's actually Potsdam now.
Yes, they moved to Potsdam, you're right.
But there's no sound yet.
No sound. There should be a sound.
Not yet.
Hi, welcome.
Okay.
Bienvenue, willkommen, Brochim Habaim. My name is Sandra Anosievich-Bear, and I'm the coordinator of the Zacharias Frankel College, a rabbinical seminary to train Masorti rabbis in Berlin, Germany, where East meets West. We are a truly international institution, a Jewish school anchored at the German university and under the religious supervision of an American West Coast institution, the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies in LA. Our program takes 5 years, after which our students graduate with 3 degrees. They receive a BA and MA in Jewish theology and a smicha, so a teudah, rabbinic certificate, which testifies that they mastered the ancient sources. I will now let you listen to our students, our international crowd, who will tell you about their wishes, aspirations, and hopes for Jewish life in Germany and beyond. And I want to thank the Torah Fund for your continuous support, which helps us to thrive and to grow and to make Jewish life a visible part in Europe. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nathanael. I'm 26 years old and a soon-to-be ordained rabbi at the Zacharias Frankel College here in Berlin. And I decided to study at the Frankel College because I think it combines modern and traditional Jewish values, intense study of classical texts and of modern philosophical Jewish and non-Jewish texts. And it has a very individualized culture that enables every student to find out their potentials and to live them out and translate them into something that can be a meaningful contribution to the wider Jewish community in Europe and also in the world. And I'm actually very happy that I studied here, and I'm looking forward to being continuously involved with the future of the school, also in the years to come. I have a lot of friends in the college. I think there's a very good environment that has been created over the years where students are some kind of family.
Hi, my name is Andres Bruckner. I'm a rabbinical student right now at Zacharias Frankel College. I'm originally from Colombia, and I've been here in Germany already for the last 5 years. Yeah, 4.5 years. And last year I was in Israel, doing my year in Israel, and I'm very happy to be back in Berlin. I hope to stay maybe in Europe after my ordination. I still have at least 1.5 years in front of me. And yes, maybe I can always come back to Latin America, where I'm from, but I don't know if this is what I want. And yeah, would be happy to meet you all. Bye.
Hello, welcome to Berlin. My name's Josh. I am originally from Yerushalayim. I made my way to Berlin about 7 years ago and realized that all I've wanted to do my whole life is to be a Jewish teacher. A rabbi, let's say, and I really found my place here. I think I love it. I'm doing lots of teaching, lots of learning, lots of sharing, lots of building bridges between like our 3,000-year-old Jewish memory and what people need today to hear, and the concepts we need. And Berlin's been a very exciting place to be exploring myself and to be teaching others.
Hi, my name is Naomi Henkel-Gumbel, and I'm a rabbinical student at Frankel College. Let me briefly tell you why I decided to study at the Zacharias Frankel College. So, we study, learn, and revive Torah at the heart of Europe in Berlin, Germany. And we also share this Torah across Europe and beyond that with the world. We carry it to the United States, to Latin America, and beyond. We share it with our fellow rabbinical students and rabbis and our sister congregations. And not only that, we also learn to apply the tools of our forefathers and foremothers and learn what it means to live in halachic life in a complex reality of the 21st century. We learn how to make decisions on our own and how to navigate through the challenges that the world poses in front of us. This is highly exciting, and I think one of the great opportunities that we get to encounter here in Berlin. Thank you, and I hope to see you in person rather sooner than later. Take care, be well, and stay safe and healthy. Bye.
Hi, my name is Irene Muzascalpe. I'm from Barcelona, born and raised in Barcelona. And the reason why I chose Frankel is because I wanted to receive a rabbinical education that was meant internationally to form rabbis that could work internationally, not just in the United States or in the UK, but across and throughout Europe and Israel. And that's why when I finish, I very much hope to go back to Spain and work with the communities there and try to build, and in some cases rebuild, what it meant to be and to belong to a Jewish community in Spain. Thank you very much.
I am Miksa Gaspar, a second-year student of the Hungarian Rabbinical Seminar and also a second-year student in one of the social studies program here in Berlin. As now I'm primarily focusing on the social studies program, Frankel opens up the opportunity to still engage with rabbinical studies, and not in any ways, but in one of the most meaningful ways, in a small, very vibrant, learning eager community where we are sharing our experiences, sharing our knowledge on every session, and at the same time, we stay open for learning from others and further our Jewish experiences through what others had gone through in their life.
Hi, I'm Lena Arava, born in Czechoslovakia, educated in France, and became Israeli. I'm happy to be able to study at Zacharias Frankel College and meet here new great people.
Hi, this is Karen. I'm originally from California, but I have spent most of my life living here in Europe. And a good part of that was in Austria, where I worked as a radio reporter and later founded a Jewish cultural center in southern Austria, in Graz, and where I also raised a family. And I know very intimately what it's like to lead a Jewish life, or to try to lead a Jewish life, and to raise Jewish kids in areas where there are no strong Jewish institutions and where the communities are very small. And from that experience, I really want to contribute more to Jewish life here in Europe. When my children left home and started college themselves, I thought, now this is my opportunity to really delve into Jewish texts and to educate myself. And therefore, I'm very grateful for the Zacharias Frankel Seminary that it's here, and it gives us this opportunity. We're a small group of students from all areas of Europe, or from many different areas of Europe, and also from Latin America. And we study together, and we learn from each other, we support each other, we teach each other. It's a very supportive and very nice atmosphere here at the Frankel Seminary. And I hope very much that at the end of my rabbinical studies that I will then also be able to contribute to making Jewish life here in Europe stronger.
Hi again. I'm proud to lead such a fine group of students, and I'm looking forward to follow them as they will lead us to build our Jewish future. We are grateful for the Torah Fund's support of this journey and in the building process. And please stay tuned. The next time we meet, we will be in our new premises at the University of Potsdam, in a brand new old building from the 18th century dedicated to Jewish learning and rabbinical education, training Masorti rabbis. I'm looking forward to being in touch and to welcome you there. Thank you.
Lovely video. It makes you feel like you get to know the kids and what they're doing there, and the reasons for going.
My name is Sandra Anosiewicz-Speer, and I'm the coordinator of the Zacharias Frankel College. It's a seminary to train Masorti rabbis.
You need to shut that.
In Germany.
We're spying.
Well, I hope that if you have a better feeling about the 5 yeshivot that we work so hard to support. I think our goals are incredibly important, and our work is important. So hope you have a better feeling of that. Thank you.
Debbie.
Sugar.
Sue disappeared for a minute.
I guess it's your turn, Gloria. Move on.
Yes, do I wait for Sue or just go ahead? Okay, I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Many years ago, when I joined the sisterhood in my synagogue, EBJC, somebody approached me and showed me a gold pin. You know, she said you could get one of these with a certain donation to Women's League. I liked the pin, and so I got it, not really understanding what it was all about. When I started getting involved in planning speakers for our Torah Fund events through the years of becoming religious vice president of Sisterhood, I really started to understand why it was so important to support Torah Fund. It's not about jewelry, it's about jewelry. So I will get into talking more about that a little later. So why should we give for the 2021-2022 year when some of us already have the pin? We have to inform our members that there has been a delayed distribution of the pins, so a new one was not made. Some people got it very late, others didn't get it at all. And this will give everyone a chance to wear it for the year. And because an artist was not hired to design a new pin and there was no new production, that money went directly to the students to help them pay tuition and to their programs. For those of you who do have a pin, when you contribute a certain amount for the 2021-22 year at a higher level, you will get the pin for the next level. And Sue could explain this later on. So why do we really need to support Torah Fund? We need to continue our commitment to help provide quality education, resources, excuse me, let me shut that off. We need to continue our commitment to help provide quality education, resources, and scholarship to our 5 institutes of higher education that Debbie spoke about. Our donations to Torah Fund show gratitude to our rabbis, cantors, educators, professors, camp staff who provide training and care to Jewish communities throughout the pandemic. We must be aware that the cost of education and quality education continually rises and budgets have been cut. Our donations will help maintain education and develop future leaders. When you give to Torah Fund, we are all together. Bayachad, that's what our pin is called. People who value learning and help our generations develop the skills that they need. And there are so many different Torah Fund projects involving the 5 seminaries. For example, I'm just going to talk about JTS. There's the Women League Educational Pavilion and Seminary Synagogue, the Goldsmith Hall, and the Tilda Schechter Residence Hall. Our contributions will make the Jewish people stronger in many ways and ensure a bright future for all of us. And now I would like to ask Sue and Sharon to add to what I have presented, since I am very new at this. Thank you.
You did a great job. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Are there any questions first before we? Are there any questions from anybody on the pins or anything that Debbie said?
I have a question.
Yeah, Donna.
Because well, not what Debbie said, but something Gloria said, so I'm not 100% sure. You said that someone who already has a pin made a donation last year. So if they're going to make a new donation to get a higher level pin, it has to be, it's not added on to what you did donate. It's like if you're going to get a pin with a pearl, you're donating $300, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So that has to be explained, to me as well. And I wondered if there was, any pictures on that, could be shown, that our Torah Fund person could show that to people in case they were interested. Is there a picture on it?
Yeah, there's a flyer that
There's
shows.
a flyer, but doesn't show the pictures. It just says the level, and it doesn't tell what the pin is. Barbara, did I miss that someplace? Barbara?
Yes.
Sorry, I had to unmute. There is a pin flyer. It shows the level of the donation. And it was updated for this year. Sue, if you don't have one, I will send it to you.
No,
And
I do have one, but it doesn't show the pin or the jewel that's on it.
um,
I have an old flyer that I thought I might have given you, Sue, because I always had one that showed not that one, Debbie. It showed each level of donation and what the pin was for that donation.
I don't think that the pin flyer shows the pin with the gem.
Right.
Yeah, I think it did a long time ago.
Donna, could you send that to me? And can I send
If
that
I
back,
still,
Barbara?
if I still have it. See, that's the one Debbie's holding up just shows there are a lot of them are the same.
No, that's for Chesed. That was the Chesed pin.
Yeah, that's not it.
And we did not create that last year for Biachad.
Sue, you're sure it's not in the book I gave you with stuff?
I will look again and I will send that out if I find it. If
And
not,
I'll look too.
Barbara, I'll get back to someone to see if I can find an old one.
Yeah, it doesn't show the pin with the current flyer for the Biachad pin just shows Biachad. It doesn't show the pin with the pearl or the
ruby.
Right, it just says the different levels.
Teresa might have one now.
Teresa?
No, but I wonder if the Torah Fund, the packet that you send out to the Torah Fund chairs, would that have the pictures in it?
It doesn't this year.
Didn't make one this year for Biachad.
Not in the packet that you send out?
No, they did not make a flyer with the picture of the pin with the different gemstones in
No, I'm
it.
not talking about the flyer. I'm talking about the guide or that's not, what about last year's guide? Would it have a picture in there from last year?
I will look into it and get back to everybody.
Okay.
Okay. That was there any questions on oh darn it, sorry.
Yes, can we get access to that film to show to our synagogues?
Yes, you definitely can. We can send it to you. I have them on my computer and I can forward that to you.
Okay, do you want to forward it to everyone or just people who ask for it?
I would rather forward it to people who ask for it.
Okay, D. Cohn, Temple, Beth Shalom, and Livingston.
Could you do me a favor? Could you email me?
And your email is?
It's listed on everything I have sent you. It's
okay.
SUE. I'll do it on the chat. I'll put it out on the chat.
Perfect.
Okay. Is there any questions on the video other than what we just said? And that's all the questions on the pin and giving to Torah and the different pins. Okay, we'll go to Sharon. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to add a comment.
Okay.
I recently gave the pin out because we are in shul in person, and the biyachad had a whole different meaning because we are now together in shul, and the person who got it was so thrilled and excited to think that, you know, she had this connection not only to JTS but to the synagogue.
That's a great way to look at it, and I think we should push it that way. SJS.
I was just going to make another comment. I have had a lot of pushback because of the lack of a pin. I think it would be nice if there were maybe just something you could hang on the pin or something, a little extra addition thing. Might be, Barbara, to think about something else. I don't know if the international or the national committee has thought of that, but there are people who are really I mean, I gave out all the pins to all of my Torah Fund benefactors last year. So this is, there's, nothing to give out this year. So it's a little disappointing for some of the people. I think that the fact that we have had pins all these years and people have been giving and collecting and thinking about that, it's hard. I know they're supposed to be jewelry, not jewelry, but for many people, that's a very important thing.
It is.
I think Barbara can answer that. She and I spoke the other day. Barbara, could you go over that?
This was discussed at length all year. There was a delay getting the pins at the beginning of last year. They were late being manufactured, etc. And then getting the volunteers in to distribute them was a little different than usual with COVID protocols. When they did finally get in, they were sent out, but not everybody got them and not everybody had ordered them. The second distribution of pins occurred, the volunteers went into JTS on July 28th. The pins were mailed the following week. I think they're being received now. It was a very long procedure. We had to make some decisions that were very difficult to make because we're all volunteers. We've all experienced Torah Fund and Torah Fund pins the same as everybody out in all of our sisterhoods. This was a very difficult decision, but the Torah Fund cabinet voted. We really felt it was very important to not rush, to let everybody get the pin, and just to use that money that we would have spent on the pins, let it go directly to the students. As far as adding something to the pin, this was also discussed. These ideas all were discussed. People thought it would be a good idea to add a charm. We already add a charm to the Torah Fund pin. I've got one dangling here from mine. If you are a member of the Torah Fund Legacy Society, which is our planned giving program for Torah Fund, when you become a member of the Torah Fund Legacy Society, you are issued a charm that dangles from your pin. The Torah Fund Legacy Society Committee really felt that they wanted to make sure that everybody understood that charm dangling from a pin was recognition of somebody being part of the Torah Fund Legacy Society. Many region vice presidents in Donna Burkett's class had lots of different ideas of things to do, things to add. In the end, we decided not to. And we decided that it was best to concentrate on the mission, to concentrate on why we give to Torah Fund. And so you will be seeing a lot of quotes this year. We're going to be collecting quotes. And if you have a quote that you would like to share with us, why you give to Torah Fund, we will share them. I think if you saw the most recent flyer, there were 2 quotes included in the most recent flyer. So we are going to really concentrate this year on our cause. We are going to encourage all of you in your sisterhoods to please honor those women who are donating to Torah Fund. There are many ways that we can honor people. And there will definitely be a pin for the 2022-23 campaign. It will be highlighting the 80th anniversary of Torah Fund. So you will begin to hear a lot more this year. 2022 is the year, or 1942 is when Torah Fund began. We are going to spend the next 2 campaign years celebrating our 80th anniversary.
Thank you, Barbara.
Sure.
You're on mute, Sue.
If there's nobody, I don't know how many people know what the Legacy Society is, but that's when you're giving in your will to have it donated after you're gone. And once you put that through, of course, the money is not taken until after, but you do get that charm to put on your pin.
Is there a minimum?
I don't think there's a minimum, but most people would put in at least a couple of $100s, if not thousands.
It is up to you.
Right.
It's up to you. Nobody is going to ask you a question about what you are giving. We're just grateful that you will make that donation.
Are there forms available for that?
Yes, there is. And again, I will send that form for Legacy out to everybody. Is there anybody who didn't get the 2 papers I sent today? One with our team information, all our team phone numbers and addresses and emails. And the other thing I sent was, who is your team person to call and speak to directly? And then the team and I meet every single month. So unless it's an important, immediate answer, then we discuss it all during the month.
I received it.
You received it, Donna? Okay.
Yeah.
I did too.
Okay. Sharon is going to talk about programming and the programs that you can, which is one of them you just saw. And she will give you all the information about programming and ideas. And then you can come back and forth after she's finished and give us some ideas or ask questions. Sharon?
Thank you very much, Sue, and thank you, Gloria and Debbie. Debbie, I really enjoyed your comments both about the school in Argentina. We had the opportunity a number of years ago, my husband and I, to go to the seminario. And one of the things that they said, which really echoed what you said, is they were so happy that we came because nobody goes to South America. You know, we're Europe centered. We go to Europe, we go to Israel. We don't necessarily go to South America. And it's very exciting what they're doing. And they're really creating rabbis for South America, Latin America, you know, all that entire area. It's very, very exciting. So thank you very much for that history that you gave us. And also, you mentioned Marshall Meyer. I don't know, going back, and some of you were too young to know this, but when I was in high school, we wore either villager clothes or John Meyer of Norwich. And John Meyer of Norwich is Marshall Meyer's family, just so you know. A little bit of history there, fashion history. So obviously, a wonderful program, and Dee asked about it, is to show show the video. There are 2 other videos, but this one was really, I thought, excellent and really captured the students' enthusiasm as well as the directors. And I appreciated her comments thanking in the beginning and the end Torah Fund. So obviously that's a program that I think is very exciting. And I think it's something that we can also think about, going back to the discussion that we were just having about how do we reward the people who are giving this year and are not getting a pin. And I think we all have had experiences where people say, oh, I don't want the pin, I don't like the pin, I just want to give the contribution. Or people who say, I run a pin, you know, I'm not getting a pin this year. So we have both sides of the argument. But I think showing this video is an excellent, excellent program. My synagogue last year told me that I could not do the campaign for Torah Fund because the synagogue was experiencing financial issues. People in the synagogue were experiencing financial issues. So rather than sending out a letter to the 840 plus households in my congregation, I only sent out letters to those people who had contributed in some way to Torah Fund, either on the benefactor level or less, as well as a few other people. So I have two sets of letters, basically. One is for repeat donors, and one is for the general congregation. And going forward, I think that perhaps those of us that might need to scale back our campaign might just send out letters or reach out, depending upon the numbers that you're dealing with, to those people who've been benefactors in the past. And I have copies of letters from probably 5 or 6 different congregations. If anybody's interested in seeing those letters or coming up with your own letter and need any help, I'm more than happy to help you with that. So that's really probably the first thing that one might do in your campaign. A second thing that we can do is to actually invite JTS students, either for Sisterhood Shabbat, which is something that we do in our synagogue, and it can be undergrads from List College or double degree at Barnard, Cantorial School, Rabbinical School, Ziegler, JTS, and if we time it right, even maybe from Germany. Another possibility, in addition to obviously doing Sisterhood Shabbat, which we used to do in Toms River, where I lived for 31 years, and we do it here in Caldwell as well, is also have some type of an appreciation brunch, tea event. I know that some of the sisterhoods do that even sometimes in their own home, and bring in a student from one of the schools to really inspire us, in addition to your regular JTS program, a JTS student. Last year, I had somebody from the library who's a rabbi in my synagogue, a member of the synagogue, who spoke about the library and what he does as a cataloger. And he had us glued to the Zoom for more than an hour. I mean, it was fascinating. So that's another possible way to say thank you and to also expose. And, you know, certainly your rabbis, your cantors, your education directors, and some of you also may have members of your synagogue who went to one of the schools at JTS or one of the other schools, and have them speak as well. Again, my synagogue happens to have a lot of people, and I call them my CAI superstars, Congregation of Good of Israel superstars, and I had them speak about their experience in the Davidson School or in Cantorial School or Rabbinical School as a returning student in his late 40s, early 50s. So again, even having your rabbi talk about his or her experience as a student is another way, and it often gives you an opportunity to get a more personal insight into that. I know Donna's rabbi spoke recently about his experiences deciding to become a rabbi, deciding first to become Jewish, secondly to become a rabbi, and literally going across the country with $70 and a jar of peanut butter and some bread. And it was fascinating and extremely, extremely
inspiring.
Inspiring, yes, inspiring to hear Rabbi Tobin's discussion. It was, I mean, my husband sat next to me, and even though we know him, our mouths were wide open listening to him.
And that's a good way to raise money when you have an event like that, and you're honoring your rabbi or someone in your synagogue. It did help bring in more donations.
Right, yeah. Something else that Donna actually taught me is that she does a yoga event every year for Torah Fund for her own synagogue. Is that correct, Donna?
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, now that things are on Zoom, you can actually extend it to other sisterhoods.
Yeah, you want to just explain for a moment what it is that you did? Because I want to do that this year.
Oh, yeah. Just thinking of anything you can think of, ways to raise money for Torah Fund. And I am a yoga teacher, so I had a yoga class for sisterhood to raise money for Torah Fund. Pretty simple, but you could, it's not just for sisterhood, it's for everybody in the synagogue. And that's a good way to explain what Torah Fund is about as well.
Another thing that I heard just recently from someone, I believe it was Ocean Township Torah El, she said that at every meeting, and of course, hopefully at some point we're going to be back to in-person meetings, she has the Torah Fund tzedakah box on every table, and they used to collect between $50 and $75 at each event. And that's something that I had never really heard about. Debbie Gerber had a wonderful idea that she mentioned last year, I remember, for Hanukkah, or was it Valentine's Day? You spoke to the men's club, Debbie, and suggested that the men consider a present for their wives and become a Torah Fund benefactor. And I thought that was a great idea. A wonderful way of explaining Torah Fund, that it's not the Torahs in the synagogue ark, but that it's something that they can do. And something that I had actually talked about with Barbara Ezring earlier this year, and we hopefully will have the opportunity soon. My husband and I, a few years ago, endowed something called the Ramah Ambassadors. And the Ramah Ambassadors are JTS or Ziegler students who work at one of the Ramah camps over the summer. They receive an extra stipend, and that enables them to plan some programs for the seminaries. When someone from admissions comes, or somebody, if the chancellor comes, or whoever is coming to represent the seminary, it might be an Oneg Shabbat, and any of the older campers who might be looking at colleges, or any of the staff who are trying to figure out what they're going to do when they graduate college, can reach out to these Ramah ambassadors. And 2 years ago, not this summer, because we haven't met with the Ramah ambassadors yet, but last summer, the Ramah ambassadors originated 100 inquiries. I'm sorry, there were 100 inquiries for JTS, and 75 of them were originated or sent to JTS by the Ramah ambassadors. So I'm hoping that some of them will be available to speak and explain what they do at camp, what their roles are at camp, and how they represent the seminaries that they are students at. So those are just a few of the ideas that I thought of, and I'm welcome to hear any ideas that any of you have, and hopefully to disseminate them to all of us.
I make a comment. Lovely presentation, Sharon. I just wanted to say, we now, because we have Zoom, you have to be able to use this Zoom. It's an amazing platform, because we don't have to get the kids to come out to the school. We don't have to give them an honorarium. We can ask them to speak for an hour, give an hour of their time just to speak to a meeting. Can be a recording. If we have an in-person meeting, alavai, we can have them on, on Zoom as well, and the Zoom component. But to be able to have them at our meetings is much easier now that we don't have to bring them to our shuls. So we can just ask for a volunteer, or there are people that are really good speakers, or from JTS that can come to our Zoom meeting.
I just want to add that I just want to add, Debbie, though, that when they come on Zoom, they still get paid the honorarium.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're students.
They don't need the transportation anyway.
You don't have to pay transportation.
No, but they do get an honorary stipend.
By the way, if you want a student to speak, that goes through the Torah Fund office, through Lisa. Right now, she's actually in the process of hopefully confirming a student for the region for the November Torah Fund program. A young man who's a fifth year rabbinical school student who spoke recently through my shul, and he's extremely dynamic and extremely interesting, and hopefully he'll be our program in November. But that's done through the office, and I'm sure that there are some other programs out there that some of you may wish to share, or if you have any questions or you want copies of any letters that have been used in the past, please don't hesitate to ask for that.
I'll just add that any event, if it is in person, like I always bring Torah Fund cards.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
to offer, right?
And
so
they
that's
are available again.
Yes, I have that at the end. Yes.
okay.
Donna has just said that if somebody does want a yoga class for Zoom, we can contact her and see if she can arrange it at her time and your time together. Sharon, that was great. Is there any, the presentations have been very good. I really appreciate everybody coming together. I'm very new at this, and you all have helped me greatly. Is there any programs that anybody else can suggest that Sharon has not mentioned today?
Marlene has her hand up.
Yes.
Oh,
I have personally been using the e-cards because I wasn't able to get actual paper cards anymore. So I've been sending the e-cards, and they're very simple. And then you don't have to worry about addressing the envelope. It's all taken care of. And unfortunately, when Carol Simon and Gloria Cohen both lost a loved one in the very short time of each other, it was very simple to send those e-cards. And now, unfortunately, we have another person, Blanche Mizell, lost a grandson. So I'll be sending that card tomorrow.
Thank you, Marlene. I wanted to mention the e-cards and the paper cards. The digital cards are very, very easy to do. In fact, this week I'm going to send myself one so I can explain how to do it to everybody else. And the paper cards, I have sent out the form to everybody last week. Hopefully everybody got the form, and you can order them in bulk. They're 25 cents a card, and you have to have at least 50 cards. You send your money in with the form, and that goes towards your Torah Fund goal. Talking about Torah Fund goals, I will be contacting every one of you as soon as my Israeli family leaves next week. I will call you all up and find out what we can do with the goals this year, and I'm hoping that we can raise some of them. I know some of you have problems, and those problems we can discuss. Sharon mentioned something that I don't have to mention now, and that was Sharon had just mentioned, can't remember
November.
Pardon me?
November 14th.
The November 14th, I was going to give the information on it. We're going to have a November 14th kickoff for our Torah Fund for Garden State Region, and we hope to have another one in March. And can I say the name of the student?
Well, we haven't confirmed it yet.
Oh, no, I saw that today.
Yes.
But it's very exciting, and I'm hoping that he will be confirmed. We're going to have him for our seminar and a lot of other things. Let's see.
May I just interject something here also?
Absolutely.
I know that we have a membership chair in our synagogue, a paid professional in our synagogue. And she just ordered for the synagogue 50 Torah Fund cards.
Oh, that's great.
And that's despite the fact that the synagogue obviously has its own tributes and everything, but particularly like for a new baby, And that might be something that a sisterhood might even want to also purchase. And since, as we know, that money goes towards your Torah Fund goal, that's another way to raise money for Torah Fund. I've not personally done that in my synagogue, partly because I know the membership person does, but also because I figured the synagogue has its cards. But each synagogue has a different culture and a different philosophy. And so that's another thing to consider.
Yes.
And for the future. Hopefully, I will mention Kendall Pitney is the name of the young man who we've reached out to. He is a Jew of color, and he's an artist, and he's extremely well-spoken and has a very interesting biography. And we're hoping that he'll be available. Lisa just reached out to me today and asked if I had a phone number for him, which I have to get from someone in my synagogue. But hopefully he will come.
Thank you, Sharon.
Sue, this is Sedley.
Yes.
I ordered $50 worth of cards
yes.
over a year ago. And my treasurer has sent in the $50 a while ago. I've been speaking to Meg Morrison, and I'm losing money because I don't have those cards. She keeps telling me that they're waiting for volunteers to come in to send out the cards. I did get my pins the other day, the extra pins that I ordered, but I still haven't gotten the cards, and I have 5 women that are waiting for them. I have one woman that takes 50 or 60 cards at a clip and gives me the money.
I will call and see. I know I spoke to the office and they said they will be sending the cards out.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
it. There's a slight delay in sending the cards out, has to do with COVID. Somebody was exposed to COVID, so it pushed things back. So I'm sorry that they haven't gone out yet. I know that Meg completed doing the inventory now, and as soon as they can get them out, they will get them out. I'm sorry there was a delay, but
I hope the individual is recovering.
Yes, thank you.
I've been very patient.
I know you haven't. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's been so patient about the cards. Okay. It's been challenging.
It's been difficult.
Thank you.
I think the last thing before we, and of course, after I'm finished with this last thing, if there's more questions, please ask. How to donate to Torah Fund online. It is very simple. I have looked at it online. I have gone through it. I sent the directions out. As I did it, I wrote the directions out and I sent it all to you. Donna, did you get that?
I don't think so. When did you send that?
I sent that yesterday, I think. Sharon, did you get it?
Yes.
It was directions?
The directions on how to donate to the Torah Fund online, and I have volunteered to do it with each one of the chairs or anybody else who needs help. I will do it online with them, especially if they have a Mac. It's easy to do it with them, and I don't have to give every time they do it, but it's very easy to do.
That's a good.
Yeah, I did not receive that.
Okay, I will send it out again.
Yeah, please.
I wrote out the directions and I thought they were very clear. I may have just sent it to the team today, but I will send it out tomorrow.
To everyone.
Pardon me?
To everyone?
To every chair.
Great, thank you.
Chairs can send it to your synagogues.
Yes.
And if you do need help, all you have to do is call me on the phone and I will go to my computer and I will work with the person who needs the help. Directions to Torah donations send out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yesterday. You only sent it to the chairs, Sue.
Did I?
Sue.
Okay.
Hi, Barbara. Yeah, my question is about the pins. Actually, we just got our pins about a couple of weeks ago for our orders from last fall. So
You did, okay.
So now I am now the Torah Fund chair of our sisterhood. I never was one before. And only 2 people actually ordered pins, so I ordered 2 extra. But if we need to order more, will that be a problem? If I'm lucky, I want to be able to get donors. I only had 2 donors last year, so I need to increase that. Will I be able to hand out a pin in the future, or will we have to wait again, or no more pins? I just wanted to know.
Yes, we can, or who, I don't know who's, could everybody put their on
That's
mute?
me. I'm going to mute myself.
Oh, okay. Yes, you can order pins as needed. They are not going to be sending pins. If your normal way of ordering pins is not going to happen this year. You will order pins as needed, and they will send the pins. There will not be any paper with the pins or a description of the pins. Is that correct, Barbara?
I have a description for the pins, the little card that comes in. It was not printed last year. We don't know what happened, but we have it. So if you need it, just ask and we can send it to you.
Okay, but there are
We
no
ask for that.
forms at this point to order like you normally do, because only the people who are ordering pins that did not get pins last year will be getting pins or above the benefactory level. If they had a pin that was a benefactor last year and they order for the next level, they will be getting a pin if you order it. Does everybody understand that process?
No.
This year? Okay.
Who do we ask for the paper insert?
The paper insert will come, with paper insert if you have not ordered, if you're not ordering pins?
Right.
Okay. Barbara, could you answer that so I don't have to go back?
What I will do is send a copy of the inserts to Sue, and then she can distribute them as needed in your region.
Great. Okay, and you can copy it or print it out. Is that correct?
Just print it and cut the dotted lines.
Yes.
And then just
How's
make
that?
another comment. I used those last time when I had the cards. I bought a little tiny bag at the dollar store, and I think they're 3 for $1. And I put the pin inside with the card and the explanation, and that had the explanation on it. And people were very appreciative of having a little present. So if you haven't given out your pins yet, it's a really nice way to just as I say, I donated the bags, but you just put the pin inside with the card and the explanation. It's really a cute little, instead of handing them a pin or box, it just seemed like a nicer way to do it. Give them
That's a great little idea. There's also little bags you could buy at the dollar store that you can put jewelry in. Not
Right.
that kind, but the other kind of bag too. Yeah.
That's why I think the description is important, because I think without the description, you lose a little bit of what the pin really means. So I love the idea of having a description. Thank you, Barbara.
Great idea. The one thing I didn't do, which would be very nice, if everybody introduces themselves and just says the name of their synagogue and what town it's in, that would be great. Gloria, you already did, but could you do it again?
Okay, I'm from East Brunswick Jewish Center in East Brunswick.
Debbie?
Debbie Gerber from Highland Park Conservative Congregation Anshe Yemet, and yeah, that's it.
Shelby?
Assembly. Assistant of Temple Beth Or Beth Torah, Clark, New Jersey.
Teresa?
I'm going to unmute myself. I'm Teresa Samter. I'm the new Torah Fund chair of Congregation B'nai Tikva, and I'm also the immediate past president of the Garden State region. And I'm so glad to see Dee and Debbie and all my past Torah Fund chairs that I got to know, Nancy, Toby, all of you. Give you a big hug over the screen, and all of you. Sebly, I can't see all your names, and it's good to see you.
Annie?
I'm Annie Coyne. I'm from Congregation Ahavat Olam in Owl, and I'm here to just help Nancy.
Thank you, Annie, for helping Nancy. Nancy? You're on
Nancy,
mute, Nancy.
Nancy Mayrowitz, Congregation Ahavat Olam, Howell, New Jersey. And I am also the parliamentarian for the region, Garden State region.
Thank you. Michelle?
Michelle Barbaro, Miriam Sisterhood of Hope Shalom in South Orange.
Marlene?
Marlene Oslick. I'm in Temple, Beth El Mikor Chaim in Cranford, even though I've now moved to Somerset. I am a past, at that time it was called branch president. I've been Torah Fund chairman at my temple for over 25 years. I think they should replace me. The jobs I have with Women's League, I've been the co-chair of the resolutions committee, and on the region, I'm on the programming committee to try to encourage the sisterhoods to have discussion groups about the resolutions.
Thank you, Marlene. Toby?
Toby Glazer. I'm from Temple Emmanuel in Closter.
Toby is about 4 miles from me, and I will get to meet you, Toby.
Oh, good.
Donna?
Hi, I'm Donna Burkett from Temple B'nai Shalom in West Orange. I've also been the Torah Fund chair there for, I think, 15 years or something like that. And I do finally have a co-Torah Fund chair. So she's doing her best to help me as much as she can. And I just have a new post with the region. I was the Torah Fund VP, which Sue is doing an amazing job at. Fabulous. So I was doing that for 3 years. And now I'm the region sisterhood, region sisterhood support VP. So I'm learning something new too. I don't know too much about, I never did membership. So anybody here who has any hints for me in that area too, I'll take it.
Thank you, Donna. Sharon?
Sharon Hammerman, in addition to being Torah Fund chair at Agudath Israel in Caldwell, I also took on the presidency of the sisterhood because it was about to be disbanded. And I'm part of Donna's sisterhood support team because it's a mutual admiration society between the two of us.
Sharon does a lot of things.
I was so impressed with what she was doing with Torah Fund that I suggested she become the vice president for Torah Fund, and then she turned around and asked me to be on the support team. So
thank you, Sharon.
We have fun.
Dee?
Dee Cohn, Temple Beth Shalom in Livingston, New Jersey.
Wendy?
I'm Cindy Manis from Temple Beth Am in Aberdeen, and I'm also the treasurer of the region.
And Deborah Barkin? Deborah, you're on mute. Deborah, mute. Unmute.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Deborah Barkan from Temple Emmanuel and Woodcliffs Lake, just like Sue is.
Thank you. Sandy Panza? Sandy, are you still there? Or are you on mute? Guess not. Ruth? Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. And I'm always available. I'm a morning person. I go to sleep early. But you can call me anytime after 5 a.m. in the morning. If there's any questions, if I can't answer it, I will find somebody who knows the answer and then I will get back to you. I promise you that. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank
Good night,
you so
everyone.
much. And thank you to my team.
Thank you, Sue. It was a good meeting.
Very informative. Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody.